It's over 9,000!
Welcome, Super Elite Warriors, to Final Forum, a podcast for the discussion of all things Dragon Ball. I am your host, Jelly, an elite recruiting member of the Frieza Force on a mission to find the best warriors from across the galaxy to join the greatest army of all time. And I am joined, as always, by my new recruit co-host.
This is the Bekinney, and join us as we uncover the cultural inspirations and hidden history behind Akira Toriyama's seminal franchise. And we're still somehow in one piece.
Somehow? Like I said, just because we were in an asteroid belt doesn't mean we were dodging them left and right.
True, but despite my admonishments for you to stay alert, I caught you sleeping with your feet on the controls.
I wasn't sleeping, I was just resting my eyes.
What are you, a 40-year-old dad trying to stay awake through a movie his kids want to watch?
Very often, yes.
What?
What I do outside of this ship is nobody's business but mine and my other businesses.
Outside of this ship, we've been on a mission together for like 4 years without a break.
I think about 4 years and 3 months by the time this episode reaches listeners' ears.
Right. So, how can you have a life outside of this?
Some mysteries were not meant to be solved.
You just misspoke, didn't you?
Once again, there are some mysteries that should remain unsolved. Well, listen, our targets seem to be slowing down a bit as we head towards that red planet, and I say we slow too.
Okay, reducing speed.
And, since we're not going to be going anywhere for a while, let's fire up the projector and check out a movie. Because this week, we are watching Dragon Ball Z movie number 3, Dragon Ball movie overall number 6, I believe that makes it, Tree of Might. And I've got the unedited whatever version that like the same one we've been watching for all of them, and I think that's what you've got too.
Yeah.
Where you get like about 12 seconds of a Toei logo and then it smashes right into the movie. And so because of that, we're paused at 0.
Makes sense.
And that's just what it's going to be for this. These movies all smash right from the Toei logo, just straight into it. There's no build.
It's all gas, no brakes.
So hopefully that gave everyone else out there time to, get themselves ready, get themselves synced up as we do. And, a reminder, we're not usually super screen specific, but if there is something, we have no problems interrupting each other. And I'll do 3, 2, 1, go. On go, hit play on whichever device you're using. I won't make all the usual jokes, but yes, whatever device you're using, hit play, and we'll go. And I think that's it. Anything else before we get going?
I think you've covered it.
Okay, on go, and here we are. I was gonna say here we go, but I didn't want people to.
You don't want to trigger people early, yeah. That's
think
terrible.
That was the go. Okay. In 3, 2, 1, go. And we are getting the Toei logo, and then we're gonna smash right into the movie. So, Dragon Ball Z: The Tree of Might is, like I mentioned, the 6th Dragon Ball movie and the 3rd under the Dragon Ball Z banner. Originally released in Japan on July 7th, 1990, which, if you're paying attention, means just 4 months after the last movie. And in terms of the show, is kind of where we were a couple months ago when Piccolo was fighting everyone in the afterlife. Grand Elder Namek was unlocking Krillin's power, and just a smidge before Vegeta beats Zarbon. That's where this movie falls in terms of when it came out. It debuted at the Toei Manga Matsuri Film Festival, where it was shown as part of a triple feature of Akira Toriyama creations, dubbed Akira Toriyama, The World. The other two movies were anime versions of his one-shot stories, Kennosuke-sama and Pink the Rainjack. This is directed once again by Daisuke Nishio, who we've spoken about at length. It's written by Takeo Koyama, who we've also spoken about. And if you want more on those two, refer to our Halo episode and our Don Dracula episode, both from Octobers in the past. Music is once again by Shinsuke Kikuchi, who I think, unless plans pivot significantly between now and when we actually record our October episodes, we will also have talked about, and you can check out our most recent October episode where we did a commentary on a Gamera movie to check out us talking about Kikuchi. Tree of Might earned about 1.4 billion yen at the box office, or about $11 million. And again, contextualizing these, $11 million, pretty good. Ultimately. We'll talk briefly about that more. I think I have a little... If this is your first time listening to one of our commentaries for these, we'll talk about why that's good a little bit. As usual, let's talk about the other films from this bill. Kennosuke-sama is the story of a young samurai about to go on a date and having various misadventures, being that he's a traditionalist and he's trying to prep for the modern world and dating in it. So he's like goes on a car ride and he can't drive a car. And this part right here, this probe or whatever that flies out, this gives me big Empire Strikes Back vibes.
Absolutely.
So we liked the Kennosuke-sama one shot when we talked about it in the Akira Toriyama's Manga Theater episode that we did. The anime is directed by Minoru Okazaki, who directed 28 episodes of Dragon Ball, 7 episodes of DBZ, and what looks like a lot of GT. Bekinney will try not to hold that against him.
Yeah, nobody's perfect, I guess.
Okazaki also directed a lot of Dr. Slump and Tetsujin 28, as well as episodes of Mega Man, Wish Upon a Star, after having gotten his start in some of the earliest anime shows, namely Astro Boy and Cyborg 009. So in the case of Kennosuke-sama, it definitely feels like the team involved saying, hey, take our usual anime team and have them make a movie for this festival. If you Google Kennosuke-sama, you can actually pretty easily find this little short to watch. So maybe we'll do that someday, even if we maybe just do it as like I'm envisioning us maybe watching like 3 or 4 of them as part of like just a review rather than commentary.
Sure, yeah, that sounds like fun.
It's only 22 minutes long. It features the voice talents of Yumi Toma, known for voicing Fortune in Metal Gear Solid 2, and Ivy Valentine in Soul Calibur 3. I don't particularly remember those characters, but...
I do. Fortune was one of the bad guys in Metal Gear Solid 2. She had this ability where, like, if you shot a gun at her, the bullets would deflect away from her.
Okay.
And then Ivy is the female character with the chain sword.
See, I've never played Soul Calibur, so...
Okay.
I remember Metal Gear Solid 2, and I remember playing it, like, relatively shortly on the heels of the first one, and being like, is this a game, or do I just watch cutscenes the whole time?
I mean, it's mostly watching cutscenes.
Also in the Kennosuke-sama movie is Naoko Watanabe, Dragon Ball's Chi-Chi, and Eiko Masuyama, who is most known for voicing Fujiko Mine in the Lupin franchise. And I have seen a couple of Lupin movies. They're like really good. They're like...
Yeah, typically.
They're like if anime did Indiana Jones is kind of...
Yeah, that's a pretty good assessment.
For the History of Trunks fans out there, the screenwriter of Kennosuke-sama is Hiroshi Toda, who did the History of Trunks screenplay. Pink, the Rainjack, the anime, runs a little bit longer at 31 minutes, And again, we talked about that one shot in our manga theater episode. It's another good one and sort of a proto Sandland that saw the main character trying to get to the bottom of people stealing water and ultimately helping a world where water is extremely scarce. Pink is directed by Toyo Ashida, most notable for the original Vampire Hunter D. He was also the character designer for Vifam, Minky Momo, and F-Zero GP Legend, and it has been said his designs are super similar to those of Toriyama, probably why he was selected for the movie. Ashida also directed a lot of Fist of the North Star episodes and served as production manager on the 1986 Guyver anime, which, if I recall, is pretty fun. The Guyver animes all have difficulties where they just kind of stop. They don't have like a great conclusion.
Okay.
And Ashida also did one of the segments in the 2008 anthology movie Batman Gotham Knight, it's like a decent anthology. It's not great. It's not terrible.
All right. So once again, real quick, as we watch our heroes gather the Dragon Balls to save the forest, I'm going to kind of do a quick contextualization of these movies, both to kind of pad out our commentary since we have to figure out what to do for like 19 of these movies. But also because, you never know when one of these might be somebody's first. So, just a real quick recap of the Manga Matsuri Festival. So this film was first released at the Toei Manga... Sorry. This film was the first released at the Toei Manga Matsuri, a Toei cartoon festival that was established in 1969 as a way to showcase popular anime series as theatrical films during breaks in the Japanese school year, so like spring break, summer break, and winter vacation. It's a 2-week to 1-month event where a double or triple or even a quadruple pill would play, lasting around 3 hours. It's basically like a commercial for all the series that are featured as films on the bill, trying to get kids into those shows, and every Dragon Ball movie up until 2013 premiered at one of these festivals. If you want to know more, refer to our Curse of the Blood Rubies commentary, where we go into the history, or our episode of Dragon Ball movies from one of our panels that we released at the end of February 2025.
This is a great Shenron summoning moment. Like, he looks great here.
I also really like how they summon Shenron to fix the forest as a way to take the dragon out of play when the bad guys show up.
Yeah, it's
a nice little way to kind of lampshade that a little bit.
Yeah.
But again, remembering that these were basically ads sort of masquerading as films, their box office takes were modest but overall quite good. They would generate more revenue in 3 hours than 3 hours of TV programming, while costing about the same to produce. Our Sleeping Princess and Devil's Castle commentary went deeper into the financials behind these Matsuri films. On the producing side, Chiaki Yamada is back once again, who we discussed as sort of a founding father of Toei and the Toei Manga Matsuri Festival. And do you see how difficult it gets to keep talking in depth about these movies when it's like, all the same people worked on this movie as the last one just 4 months ago, and this time they were featured alongside other Akira Toriyama works we've already talked about also. So, for more on Amada, check out the Sleeping Princess in Devil's Castle commentary. Shinichi Fukamitsu was the film's editor, once again, and we went into some of his credits in our previous commentary on The World's Strongest. Director of photography is Motoaki Ikegami, who we also spoke about last time. And we've also got Minoru Maeda back for character design work as well as art direction, but this time he's not listed as the art director. That credit goes to Yuji Ikeda. Ikeda started as a background artist working on Dr. Slump, Dragon Ball, and the Dragon Ball movies, beginning with Mystical Adventure. He'll stay on in the art department through Super Android 13, and out of the sphere of Toriyama, he's worked on titles such as Barefoot Gen 2, Bleach, Death Note, Demon City Shinjuku, Digimon, The Guyver, Naruto, One Piece, Pokemon, and Yu Yu Hakusho, along with like a bunch of others. He's had an extremely prolific career working in art and animation, with credits beginning in 1978 and going on through 2018.
Yeah, and okay, it's time to dig into the movie itself as much as we can. this movie, and if some of the editing on this episode, by the way, is choppy, a dog hopped aboard our spaceship out of nowhere and started misbehaving, so we've had to pause and break things up. So just fair warning. This is right here is the Empire Strikes Back thing I was talking about.
Empire Strikes Back. Yeah, with the probe on Hoth.
Yes, exactly. It looks almost. It also looks a little bit like one of the angels from Evangelion. I'm sure people would be able to tell me which one, but I don't know offhand. And then also, I feel like there were Johnny Quest robots that looked like that one time.
I think you're right. Yeah.
So,
like the old version of the cartoon, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like the Hanna-Barbera, like a lot of stuff was barely moving type of version of the cartoon. Yes.
The motion comic.
Yes. So yes, this movie marks the first appearance of Icarus, Gohan's dragon friend, who would go on to appear in Lord Slug, Cooler's Revenge, and the Garlic Jr. filler saga, as well as a filler episode. In fact, the filler episode, the driving episode.
Yes.
Icarus is maybe the closest thing to Dragon Ball's Harley Quinn, a character that was created for a specific version and wound up having enough appeal or use or something to appear in other versions of the franchise, even being drawn into a piece of promotional material for Dragon Ball Super by Toyotaro, along with a note saying that Toyotaro hoped Icarus was alive and well. Icarus resembles a more European depiction of a dragon and highlights the contrast between how dragons are depicted in these cultures. Despite being of the European design, he's depicted as almost entirely non-violent and docile, rather than a destructive, malevolent force of nature. Icarus is possibly based in part on Taxi Dragon, a character who appeared in Dr. Slump and acts as a ride service for the character Shivel, a little imp who is occasionally seen playing with Arale and the Gachon. And in Japanese, his name is Haya Dragon, and I don't 100%, I couldn't find great anything on what that really meant. But
I just took it as he didn't name the dragon, just every time he sees it, he goes, Hiya, dragon. It's probably not anywhere close to correct, but that's just how it goes in my head.
I've seen it translated as hire dragon, like as in almost like for hire, and that makes me feel like the Taxi Dragon inspiration is like more
on the nose.
Possible, right? If you got a dragon for hire, it's a Taxi Dragon type of thing. Yeah. The name Icarus, though, comes from the Greek character of mythology who had developed wings held together by wax along with his father Daedalus, but flew too close to the sun in a fit of arrogance, causing the heat from the rays of the sun to melt the wax, the wings to fall apart, and Icarus to plunge to his death. Nothing like that ever quite happens to this version of Icarus. He does get a little too close to Shenron, but Gohan protects him. And later on, in a different movie, he's targeted by Cooler's forces, but he manages to survive the ordeal. So, nothing exactly like his namesake. We have a slew of new villains here, and we very briefly saw them for a moment so far, including Raisin, whose name pun should be obvious, and his little brother Lakasai, whose name is a play on the word rakasai, which is the Japanese word for a peanut or a monkey nut. And I'll be honest, when I initially saw that, like one was named Raisin and the other was Lakasai, I was like, oh, what kind of, is that like, what dried fruit is that? It's not. I was a little disappointed at first his name wasn't like Prune or Date or something like that, because they both look like raisins, actually.
Right.
And one being named after a dried fruit and the other a nut is a little bit odd. But as we'll see, as we break down the rest of these characters,
there is a theme.
It's actually the character who's named after the dried fruit who's the odd man out. Because there's Cacao, whose name, again, should be a fairly obvious pun. And then looking at him, I think, oh yeah, he looks kind of like melting chocolate. But I also get the vibe like he's a character from... when we see this character, you can correct me or add or whatever, but I get the feeling like he's a character from the Inhumanoids. Do you remember the Inhumanoids at all?
I'm not recollecting.
Okay, it was an animated series created by Hasbro to sell toys, like all of their series. And it featured scientist heroes named the Earth Corps as they battled subterranean monsters called the Inhumanoids with the aid of the Mutors. I never really actually watched Inhumanoids, but I had the toys of Tendril and Metlar. And maybe it's just because I had those two toys, but Cacao legitimately looks like a blend of those two characters. Okay. It could be some other 80s, 90s Muck Monster Man looking thing that I can't quite call to mind. Scooby-Doo had a tar monster and a mud monster. Thundercats had the baleful swamp monster. Godzilla, to get my Godzilla reference in for an episode, has Hedorah, a creature made entirely of sentient sludge. But those don't hit with the quite same level of brain recognition for me as the Inhumanoids. One more I'll actually throw out because I found it while sliding in and around and on the internet. In the late 1970s, the Batman villain Clayface received a third incarnation in form of a character named Preston Payne, and his Clayface design looks pretty similar to Cacao's design. I'll try to remember to post pictures of all of these things to our socials so people can get a feel for where my mind went trying to place Cacao in my web of hazy memories.
Right on.
Amand is the pinkish guy with the spikes on his shoulder pads. He's named after almonds, and now you start to see that these are all beans or nuts, except for raisin. So now he's the odd one out that stands out amongst the group. I don't know that Amand has anything super special or interesting about him. I mean, the shoulder spikes is sort of a Legion of Doom, Road Warriors type of thing, but we've actually talked about them one other time. I can't quite remember. I do remember talking about reverse mohawks and Road Warrior Hawk and Road Warrior Animal. Yeah. So we don't need to get too deep into the Road Warriors because we sort of already talked about them a little bit.
Yeah. So up next there's Days. Now he looks a lot like Great Value Jace. He's got the same hairstyle. He's similarly kind of just there on the Force. He's shown alongside Cacao, the more alien-looking one pretty often. But he's got one little quirk in his design that no other Dragon Ball character that comes to our mind has, and that's leg warmers. Leg warmers became a major fashion fad in the 1980s, bolstered by movies like Fame, Xanadu, and Flashdance, and the 1982 VHS release of Jane Fonda's Workout. Now, to be fair to history, aerobics exercise for women at home had already existed for over a decade by the time Fonda's video came out, having been invented by Jackie Sorensen in 1969 and taught on military bases as she accompanied her husband who was in the Air Force. Jazzercise was also already a thing, and Richard Simmons was producing exercise records as well. There are even already video aerobics VHSs out there, but the most popular ones at the time were made by an erotic photographer named Ron Harris, and they were seen as an application of art rather than instruction, and were just many close-up shots of women exercising with almost no narration about the routines.
That's like what Roshi's watches.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's like the Master Roshi workout tapes.
Yes, the ones that I think we've even seen him a couple times in show watching them. So
yeah,
it's canon to Dragon Ball. We're not pulling this out of nowhere, folks. Fonda's video revolutionized the industry. You no longer had to go to a studio or listen to only audio. Instructor-led exercise was now in your home. Fonda had previously worn leg warmers because she practiced ballet, and it was a 1979 ankle injury that pushed her to discovering and practicing aerobics, as she needed a workout that would allow her to stay in shape while not putting too much pressure on her ankles. She was surprised to see that she became the face of the leg warmer fashion trend, and as she wore them out of habit and already knew them to be popular among the professional dance community. The workout video was a reinvention of image for Fonda, who first rose to fame via acting and the title role in the 1968 cult classic Barbarella, before pivoting into political activism inspired by the Vietnam War and civil rights movement. She became the ire of President Nixon, and her fundraising efforts for the Black Panthers caused her to fall under surveillance by the FBI, CIA, and NSA. In 1971, she was denied entry to Japan and was also subsequently disallowed from performing for U.S. troops. In 1972, Fonda made a fairly infamous trip to North Vietnam, where she conducted multiple anti-war radio broadcasts attempting to humanize the Vietnamese people and troops in order to push for an end to the war. While on this trip, she was captured and photographed sitting in the seat of a North Vietnamese anti-aircraft gun, smiling and apparently applauding, while a group of Northern Vietnam soldiers looked on. There are a series of pictures where she also dons a soldier's helmet, mugs for the camera, and even looks through the scope of a gun. This earned her the nickname Hanoi Jane among those critical to her, and has remained a source of controversy throughout her life. Her account is that she was unaware of exactly the scenario and was attempting to show that the soldiers of North Vietnam were no different than American soldiers, and she has apologized repeatedly for the pictures and attempted to provide her account of the scenario, saying, quote, "I sit down, still laughing, still applauding. It all has nothing to do with where I'm sitting. I hardly even think about where I'm sitting. The cameras flash. I get up, and as I start to walk back to the car with the translator, the implication of what has just happened hits me. Oh my God. It's going to look like I was trying to shoot down U.S. planes. I plead with him. You have to be sure those photographs are not published. Please, you can't let them be published. I am assured it will be taken care of. I don't know what else to do. It is possible that the Vietnamese had it all planned. I will never know. If they did, can I really blame them? The buck stops here. If I was used, I allowed it to happen. It was my mistake." End quote. Dubbed anti-American and even a traitor by some, Fonda sought to give her image a boost by helping women actualize their own fitness and making exercise available to everyone. The success of her workout series was massive, legitimizing home exercise as an entire industry and selling 17 million copies between 1982 and 1995, more than any non-theatrical property during that time, which is pretty impressive in itself.
Yeah, I would agree. And that it's become such a well-known thing that it's one of those things that you know or have seen like parodies of, even if you've never seen her actual workout tape, right? Like The Substance was one of the breakthrough like independent hits of 2024, and that's all about a former star actress who becomes a exercise mogul who then gets like forced out of being an exercise mogul because she's getting too old. Like it's like Jane Fonda. Like
yeah.
And it's one of those things where yes, it's like such a cultural phenomenon that you know it even though you don't think you know it, right? Like I feel like Star Wars is that way. Even if you've never seen Star Wars, you know Luke, I am your father, you know?
Yeah, true.
If in a way, Dragon Ball, you could never have seen Dragon Ball, but you probably know Goku and you know that he's sometimes is blonde. Like I feel like that's like certain things about certain, even if you're not plugged in at all, you've just seen even parodied without knowing that was the thing being parodied, that you've seen it.
Yeah.
I don't want to get too into politics, and I genuinely don't have too much of an opinion on a celebrity faux pas that happened over a decade before I was even born. But it's easy to see how the Hanoi Jane situation was controversial, and I can sort of understand both sides. Wanting to stop people killing each other by exposing the reality of both sides in a conflict is relatable, as is being angry with someone for being seemingly supportive of the opposition. It's easy to see why a certain group never has and never will forgive Fonda, especially in the post 9/11 American political landscape, which has become even more pro-troop and forcibly patriotic than in a long history of both of those things being the case. But anyway, someone decided to put leg warmers on Days, whose name, by the way, is a play on the word daisu, which means soybean. And now we've learned about Jane Fonda and the home workout video craze of the 1980s.
This is why people subscribe, honestly.
As someone who actually does a bunch of home workouts, typically I do something like from Beachbody, like P90X or Hammer and Chisel or Body Beast or Insanity. I apparently owe my home fitness journey to Jane Fonda and Jackie Sorensen to an extent, because
makes sense.
Especially Jane Fonda, like the video aspect of it. It's wild to me to like, I can't even picture in my head how like you would really, really do audio workout routines without also having some sort of visual guide.
Yeah, I would imagine there must have been like a booklet or something.
I would hope, right? Because I will, like, at this point now, I've done P90X, I don't know, over the last decade plus. I've probably done it around 10 times, at least. And so I can definitely, like, listen to it and know what to do. But the first time through, no, I absolutely had to watch the videos.
Right.
So it's just wild to me to think of, like, Richard Simmons was doing, like, records, fitness records. Also, fitness records is like, imagine putting on a record and being like, okay, we're going to be doing fitness here, but you can't jump because you can't shake anything because the record will skip.
Yeah, that's a good point. I hadn't considered that.
By the way, we just got a quick look at Cacao, but when he comes back, I'm gonna point to him again.
Yeah,
because he's cool. He's, like I said, him and Dace together have that sort of Jace and Berter dynamic going.
And that's the interesting thing about it is, like, they've done enough of these movies now where they kind of are starting to come up with this formula of, like, there's a bunch of mooks and one of them looks really weird.
But also the Tullus Crusher Corps, I believe they are called. I don't know if they're ever called that anything officially anywhere. These guys are definitely like, we have the Ginyu Force at home.
Yeah.
You've got the one with the, like, 80s, it's Dace with the, like, 80s
like
hair,
and like the ripped like sweater type.
Yeah.
Hems
and
there.
he's the, like, what did we say Jace was like hair metal? Like, he's like the hair metal
glam
one.
rock.
Yeah, you've got the really weird alien looking one who's also tall with Berter and Cacao. You've got the big muscular powerhouse with Amand and Raccoon. You've got the short little weird. Okay, they turned it into 2 instead of 1, but, like, Raisin and what is it?
I'm almost convinced that the reason that those 2 are twins is because they didn't know who to have Chaozu fight, and they felt like if it was just one person, it would be unfair for the 2 of them to fight. Which is honestly probably more respect than Tien gets usually in this show. So,
but, like, yeah, Raisin and Lakasai, like, they're Gerd or Gildo, like, that's just what they are. And then the leader, Tullus or Ginyu, like the namesake of the Force. So, last but not least is Tullus or Turles, whose name is a pun on the Japanese word for lettuce, ratasu. So it's just taking those and flipping them around. Here's Cacao. Here's the man. Come on, look at this guy's awesome looking, I think.
Man, I love every time I get to watch Yamcha use his Sokidan, because it absolutely never does anything worthwhile. I suppose you could really kind of break down Yamcha's whole fighting style as a lot of flash and zero substance.
Yes. But it does look really cool.
It does look cool, but I mean, there he is, basically dead in the bottom of another crater.
and I didn't play a ton of fighters, but Yamcha was actually a pretty fun character to play as because his attacks look cool.
Sure.
So yeah, you have Tullus, who is like Goku but not, which also gets to the Ginyu body swapping type of thing. A common misconception for Tullus is that he's Goku's twin brother, but it's stated in the movie itself that low-level Saiyans all just kind of look like that, which is, it's a take, I guess.
It's a little xenophobic, but, hey, it's all right, I guess.
Out of universe, this is probably because of, like we mentioned, just roughly where the show was at this time. These movies serve as that sort of, here's what you missed or what you're currently missing or what to expect if you start watching our show type of thing. And the show around this time is the Ginyu Force, and it's soon to be Goku's body swap with Ginyu. So we're looking at an evil Goku because we're about to get an evil Goku. It's kind of that's what this movie is doing. It's playing with that. The
Makes sense.
confusion about him being Goku's brother comes from a few places that were never American things, but just sort of made their way here via rumor and probably the internet. A November 1991 V-Jump article refers to Tullus as Goku's brother, which nobody in America in 1991 would have been reading V-Jump. And the UK AB group dub refers to Tullus as Goku's brother as well. None of this is official. Like the comment about him being Goku's brother was later like corrected in official guides and other publications that came out of Japan. And yes, the movie itself, the actual dialogue is different. So Goku being his brother should be completely disregarded. It should be debunked. I think you will see a lot of people not so much getting that point confused anymore these days.
So speaking of AB group, sorry.
I was just saying, it is a weird thing that like I remember thinking this. So it somehow
I did too, definitely the first time I watched it.
It somehow came through in a way from
I think it's more shorthand from American cartoons, because like how many like superhero cartoons or like Saturday morning cartoons had an episode where it was like the evil twin?
Yeah, that's true.
I think maybe it was kind of like a cross-cultural thing where like Americans just sort of assumed that it was an evil twin because we've seen tons of evil twin episodes.
Good point.
At least that's my guess, anyway. But yeah, so getting back to AB Group and versions of this movie, the movie first appeared in the U.S. as a 3-part television event between episodes 45 and 46 of the Ocean Dub Namek saga, with Part 1 airing on November 15th, 1997, and Parts 2 and 3 airing on November 22nd. This was the version of the movie that existed in the U.S. with content edits, most notably reducing the violence depicted on Gohan, until about 2006 when Funimation released the first 3 DBZ movies in uncut format in a DVD box set called First Strike. The movie has the most English dubs out of any Dragon Ball movie, with a 1997 Ocean dub, a 1998 Ocean Pioneer dub, a 2006 Funimation dub, an AB Group dub, and the Malaysian Speedy Video dub. A couple other quick bits of release and trivia notes here. This is the first movie to feature King Kai, the first bit of animated Dragon Ball where Goku would wear his gi with his own Go symbol on the front and back. The only time Yamcha would ever wear a gi with the Turtle School symbol on the front and the King Kai symbol on the back. And the only movie to feature all of what we think of as the original Z Warriors, namely Yamcha, Tien, Chaozu, Krillin, Gohan, Goku, and Piccolo. The American score in the original unedited release features music by Ron Wasserman, who is best known for composing the Power Rangers and X-Men animated series themes, both of which absolutely slap.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
On his work, he said, quote, "I had already left Saban, and then they called me and said, 'We've got this Dragon Ball Z. Do you want to do it? Just do it at home.' So I didn't do the theme, but I did the score, and I made it the darkest, heaviest thing, like drones and building sounds, and the show exploded, and again, I wasn't credited, and again, I think Saban stopped doing it after a couple of years, and it went to another production company. I tried to contact them, and they said, 'We're changing the sound.' So I think they lightened up. I'm not sure. I never watched the stuff." End quote. Just really just a rousing endorsement of his work.
That just goes to show like how many of these people were, you know, when we talk about these people who have like hundreds and hundreds of credits to their name, it really seems like unless a thing they did ends up being one that they're really, really known for, like Ron Wasserman ends up really known for Power Rangers music. Mm-hmm. So I'm sure he has both had so many questions on it and gone back over time that he now can probably speak to it and remembers maybe it better. But like these are the guys who were working work for hire. They're freelance guys who are doing a lot that just to eat. And doing a single Dragon Ball Z movie that, you know, they told him to do like over the phone just isn't something that this guy really remembers doing. Which is crazy to us because you would think today, if you were to get some sort of Dragon Ball Z gig, you would remember it forever, and like a lot of people probably would because now it's a huge franchise. But when Ron Wasserman did the original score for this was Dragon Ball Z was like nothing.
It's like Raul Julia in the Street Fighter movie. For us, it's Dragon Ball Z, but for him, it was only Tuesday.
He's like the only person in that movie that seems to know what movie he's in.
Right? I was like, dude, can I please get a sequel where it's just Raul Julia playing M. Bison, like taking over the world? It'd be a fantastic movie to watch.
Yeah, he was super sick when he did that movie, though.
I know. God, it's so heartbreaking.
I know. That's like the last thing.
I'd heard that like this is completely. I don't have like a source ready for this, but I also heard that like he did that movie specifically for his children, so they'd have something that they could watch together before he passed away.
Yes, I've heard that too. I actually heard that on Failure to Franchise, which is the podcast. Our friend Trev actually came on and did the.
There we go.
The
I made an unwitting plug. This is amazing.
Yeah. And so I heard it on their show, and so they do like a lot of research. So I'm sure they saw that on, an official biography or an interview or something, because they don't just say things.
Yeah.
So yes, it is a fact that Raul Julia took the role in Street Fighter, the movie, to have like a thing that he could watch with his kids before he passed, of him being like strong, like a strong character. And that's funny because we'll talk about this more when we get there in 5 to 9 years. but James Marsters did, and I need to I've heard this multiple times, and I have never looked into it to find out if it's 100% true. But James Marsters, who was Piccolo in Dragon Ball Evolution, took that role, script unseen, sight unseen, because he was a big Dragon Ball fan.
Oh, right on.
Then on top of that, after the movie turned out, the way that it did, I love Goku stretching his mouth wide open as he's getting crushed, by the way. It's like it's
your favorite frame of animation?
It hurts so much it unhinges his jaw.
Yeah, no, that's pretty good.
But Marsters was then so upset by how the movie turned out that he petitioned to come back to Dragon Ball, and when they offered him a role, he did it for free, and he is the voice of Zamasu in the Goku Black arc, which he did for free.
Awesome. That's a fan right there.
Because he was so upset about this thing that he liked turning out bad. But we'll talk about that for sure more when we get there. Also doing some work on the score in this movie is Shuki Levy, a composer who worked with Saban and was the main composer for the first 68 episodes of the Saban-assisted Ocean dub of DBZ. Levy was born in Palestine and started his career performing in various nightclubs in and around Tel Aviv. In the 70s, he performed in France in a duet called Shuki and Aviva, and with his partner, Aviva Paz, recorded a hit single that sold 2 million copies in France. Levy was partnered with Chaim Saban and co-founded Saban Entertainment, which we'll have to do an episode about at some point, since Saban is pretty involved in early Dragon Ball. We can maybe take a look at a Power Rangers podcast or something, and maybe look at a Power Rangers movie or a Power Rangers something, and get make some new friends with a Power Rangers podcast or something.
Yeah, why not?
To talk about this. But Levy is best known for compositions for 1980s shows such as Inspector Gadget, Mask, Dino Saucers, He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, the French dub of Metalder, and a great deal of work on, of course, Power Rangers. Levy has totaled 14 gold and platinum certified records in his career and has composed music for over 130 total TV shows, making him the world record holder for his prolific career.
I mean, that is truly a stacked resume when it comes to like kids shows.
Oh yeah, there were
Like
more
those...
on there too, like more that like kind of I recognized that I wasn't sure if other people would, and then like a couple that I didn't recognize but wasn't sure if other people maybe did, right? Because he's got 130.
Yeah.
I just picked the like the ones that almost show like a wide range of his skills too. Inspector Gadget is so goofy and silly and fun, and then Power Rangers, yes, at times is very goofy and silly, but also has the guitars and intense music as well. So all over the place, really good stuff from Shuki Levy for sure.
Absolutely.
And one thing I didn't have any notes on, but we mentioned in our episode or our panel on the Dragon Ball movies, was that the Tree of Might itself might be some kind of reference to a Tree of Life. And trees of life are like readily seen in a lot of religious literature. Most infamously, I guess, is the Tree of Life or the Tree of the Knowledge of Good and Evil as appears in the Bible in Genesis. And I think there's like some parallels there between that Tree of Life or Tree of whatever, Tree of Knowledge, however you want to call it. Are they two different trees? Boy, I went to a Catholic school for 12 years. I should probably know that. I
don't know off the top of my head. I'll be honest with you. And I didn't go to Catholic school, so you would know more than I would.
But, you know, the tree that like grants you a thing, but there's a terrible cost associated with it, right? Now, in the Bible, it grants you the knowledge of like good and evil, and it grants you intelligence.
Yeah, it was the Tree of Knowledge, I think.
Yeah, okay. But the downfall, of course, is being mortal and being like aware of your shame.
Yeah. Time to bust out the fig leaves.
And being banned from the Garden of Eden, which is paradise. And in this, it's like it gives you incredible strength, but it ruins the planet. There's some parallel there. We're getting now like one of the only really, really good bits of fight choreography in this entire movie. I know,
and I don't want to talk through it, but also, like, it's really good.
We were talking right before we started recording how this movie is one that we really remember from the past being like one of the good ones.
Yeah.
And when this is nasty what he does to Piccolo right there.
Yeah. This bit right here in the middle is probably the best fighting in the whole movie. Right. And it is really good. And it definitely, like, the movie is good enough and fun enough for sure, but like rewatching it, because I like you, I rewatch these always before we're gonna do one of these commentaries, just so I kind of know what to keep a lookout for and remind myself what they are, since we're doing notes and stuff back and forth, so I can't 100% pay attention while we're doing these commentaries. Yeah.
And I was like, oh, is this not one of the good ones?
I'm gonna have to kind of agree with you, at least in terms of like the fights, because like we were talking earlier, like Dead Zone had some insanely good fights, like really good.
Right.
Even though the stakes are much lower, and here the stakes are like super high, but then it like we just watched the one-on-one fights, like it was quick little scenes. All of Goku's friends get rocked. And then we get the good bit with Goku versus 5 people, and then Piccolo versus Turles is kind of like a 1-on-1. And then like the Turles fight really just kind of becomes more of like a game of chase.
Right.
Like there's a couple good hits, but mostly it's them like running away from each other.
Yeah, and boop. it's like there's just no there's a lot of plot in this movie, and that's like I feel like this is a movie. This is one of the few that actually probably could have been good, and it's like it's weirdly more frustrating than something like Dead Zone, which you just mentioned. Like Dead Zone, super thin on plot. Little imp guy returns, wants to get revenge.
Sure.
There's not a whole lot of plot there, and not a whole lot more you could expand that plot to get it to like a more traditional 80 to 90 minute feature length movie.
Mm-hmm.
This movie has all the plot. It's got a lot of plot, and it's
Almost
interesting plot, and it's good plot, but
really, yeah, and really good writing too. Like we mentioned at the beginning, how they use the dragon for a wish to save the forest, and now they don't have the dragon available to them if anything goes sideways here.
Right.
Like that's some pretty good setup for a Dragon Ball movie that's only supposed to be an hour. But then, like, I don't know. It's just they tried to do too many things at once, I think, with the storyline.
It's like they introduced all this plot and story, and then they were like, well, that gets us to an hour. And you're like, well, the other thing that all these movies have is like some like great fight choreography and really stunning animation. And this one, they're like, let's show a bunch of shots of the tree doing nothing.
Let's do a bunch of like far off explosion shots.
I'm pretty sure there's like the one shot of Goku running at the camera that's reused like 3 times. It's like a frustrating movie because
you know what this kind of smacks to me is especially if we keep using like this versus Dead Zone comparison, is like Dead Zone is like John Wick, and this is like all of those action movies in like the 2010s where it was where all the fights were like lots of cuts and things like that.
Okay,
you know what I mean? Because the fights in Dead Zone, like a lot of them were like static shot, and then the characters are the ones that moved. And in this one, it's more them just like moving really fast around, and there's not as much like actual choreography in the hand-to-hand stuff.
Right. And there's just I mean, there's some brutal stuff in here. Like this is pretty messed up here.
Yeah, and Piccolo gets rocked, absolutely destroyed.
But now and then you just cut from that to like these
this weird atmospheric shot. It's like why?
Yeah, they're really good. Like they're really good looking. Like they're these really good like painterly looking. Like someone was really proud of how that, and they should be. but
the choice to cut away from Goku getting blasted to show the countryside is a weird choice.
Right. So yeah, there's some odd choices there, and like one of the other things about A Tree of Might, I could get in another like kaiju reference is
go for it.
There's both in Ultraman and in Gamera there are like giant plants associated with sort of the antagonist bad type of thing. In Gamera 2, which is from 95, 96, I want to say, maybe 97. It's one of those.
Yeah.
It's from the mid 90s. There is a giant plant that like sprouts out of the ground, and the idea is it gets guarded by like the enemy kaiju in the movie, and if it explodes, it launches its seed into space, and that's how this plant like continues to propagate throughout the universe.
Right.
And Gamera has to like try and stop it from blowing up a whole city. In Ultraman, there's also like a giant plant that is sort of like trying to destroy things. I forget. I'm a little less well versed in Ultraman, such that I can't recall it offhand. But that's like there's definitely some Ultraman giant evil plant stuff to go with as well. So
there's also something like other anime too, like maybe not like earth destroying, but in Yu Yu Hakusho, one of the characters uses a lot of plant based techniques and stuff like that to lock people down or drain their life essence. And then in Naruto, in the finale, the big bad guy wants to like enslave people by hooking them up to a giant tree.
Oh, okay. I have like halfway through Naruto, so spoilers.
Sorry. But I didn't tell you who, which is actually huge to the plot, so that's good. The other thing I was thinking is in the show itself, it's in Hiffle. The tree is at the Enseiju, I think?
Yeah.
So it's Enseiju, and then I think in the movie it's the Shinseiju. Is that right? I think.
Yes, that's definitely correct. The Tree of Might is this.
And I was getting a kind of like Tree of Heaven, Tree of Hell kind of parallel going there.
Okay.
Where like the tree in hell is actually like a very healthy thing, and it's just kind of there for people to have, whereas the Tree of Heaven sucks all of the life out of everything before it moves on.
Okay, I like that. That's a good one. I like that one. The monster from Ultraman is called Green Mons, by the way. Oh. And it is in the original Ultraman, and it actually was meant to be in Ultra Q, which actually tracks. Like, that episode of Ultraman, to my recollection, feels a little more Ultra Q than Ultraman, which the difference really is Ultra Q, I've said, is kind of like Japanese Outer Limits or Japanese X-Files.
Mm-hmm.
It's not so much like, I mean, there's definitely monsters and stuff in it, but it's not what you think of when you think of like a kaiju or tokusatsu thing. Like, it's not generally, big guys in rubber suits fighting each other. It's more a team investigating some supernatural phenomenon.
Okay.
It's really good. But yeah, Ultraman is your more typical thing, and that episode of Ultraman, to my memory, is like a little more investigative, and the enemy's a giant plant, so like Ultraman can't really wrestle with it that much.
I mean, he could try. He probably wouldn't get very far.
But yeah, this movie, like, I don't know, I feel like all of our other movies, we've had enough stuff happening on the screen where between the things happening on the screen and our notes, we've like butted up against the runtime.
Mm-hmm. This one, we're pulling in all kinds of subjects we can think about to talk to get through all of these really slow shots.
Yes, because
also just really quick shout out to Turles for being the only villain to ever think to shoot the spirit bomb. Props to you for that, sir.
Yeah. Well,
the first one, anyways. Not the second.
Okay.
But
no one ever tries that otherwise?
I don't think so. I could be wrong.
This was in the time when the spirit bomb was like this like little thing that like Goku would hold in like a single hand.
Yeah.
And not, the size of the planet itself.
This big flashing neon sign of, hey, you should maybe stop me from doing this.
Here's a question. So they might say it in the movie and I've forgotten. Is this fruit something you need to continually eat in order to keep up that level of strength, or is it cumulative?
I think it's cumulative. Because they say something about like continuing to propagate the tree and continuing to suck the life out of planets to gain more strength. So my only assumption is that it has to be cumulative, otherwise you wouldn't ever get stronger unless you, like, I don't know.
Right, you would just, okay.
But yeah, I don't think it's ever explicitly stated
okay.
that it's permanent.
You would want it to be, I would assume. But
I would
flip
think,
side,
otherwise how would this ever be worth it?
Well, you have a whole bunch of these fruits lying around, and so then anytime you're about to go into battle, you eat a bunch of them.
I suppose you could do that.
Because
I would imagine. What's the shelf life on a fruit of the Tree of Might?
Oh, there's a question.
Is it still good if we cryogenically freeze it?
Are they shelf stable?
Could I turn it into, like, say, a jelly or a jam and still have it be effective? It's like, I'm going to fight you. Wait, hold on. Let me just have this PB&J real quick.
Hey, let me get this Uncrustable.
Also, when he finally does get hit with the spirit bomb, I think he gets probably the roughest version, because it's not only blowing him up, but it's like ripping him through the tree at the same time.
Yeah.
Which is pretty brutal.
Yes, there's some rough ways to go that have been shown in Dragon Ball. That one's kind of up there,
Think of all a lot of other times.
A lot of other times you just get like disintegrated, which I'm not. It looks painful for sure, but
right.
This is like he's getting disintegrated and also ripped through the trunk of a tree.
He's not getting disintegrated. He's getting belt sanded to death.
And then the tree just explodes its life everywhere because that's what had to happen, because the dragon was busy.
Because they already wasted their wish bringing back one forest, which ironically ended up being the reason why they ended up showing up, because the probe saw the forest. Oh my god, all the animals are coming back to life. And I think that's just the same animation, but played in reverse of when all the animals were dying.
I would be willing to bet that's the case. And then, yeah, we're pretty much out of this one already. It's a
short one.
It is. It is, but yeah, I don't know. It did not hold up as much as I wanted it to. It's not bad.
Yeah, no, sure. It's again, when we like are kind of ripping on these things a little bit, it's in the context of like these are still above average.
Well, especially like this is still. I'm not 100% sure which half of these movies I'm gonna end up falling this one into. Is it still in the good half? Maybe. But it's definitely better than stuff like, at least to my memory, Broly's Second Coming and Bio Broly and Super Android 13. Those are like some not so good ones to me.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge fan of BoJack. One of the cooler movies for sure I do not care for. I think it's the second one.
Oh, yeah, the second one's a little weird.
So, now, hey, maybe we'll watch those and go, oh no, these are better than I remember.
That's also possible.
Since this one's not as good as I remember.
Yeah. That's the tricky thing about like the last time you watched these movies was when you were like a teenager.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. It's been a good 15, 20 years. Maybe longer since I've watched the movies, right?
Yeah.
Because historically, for me, it's been like, well, why watch one of these movies when I can be a bigger dumb idiot and get myself sucked into all 400 episodes of the show again?
Yeah, I mean, it's a no-brainer. And now everybody finally gets to go on their camping trip.
Yes, and this is like some of the like last little play that Oolong gets, I think. It's like kind of fun.
I can't imagine he does too much after this point. Other than maybe be like a background like color character.
And then we're out. And yeah, Piccolo was just meditating as he is wont to do.
As he always does.
So out of 7 Dragon Balls, where do you fall on Dragon Ball Z Tree of Might?
I give it a 4. I think it's pretty strongly in the middle of the pack. And yeah, I think like you're saying, I think it might depend on a rewatch of the other ones to determine whether it stays in the good half or the bad half.
And I'll pretty much echo that, right? I think it's middle of the pack for sure. Somewhere in the middle. All right, I think of the 6 we've watched so far, this is the weakest one.
Yeah.
Would I take this slightly over Curse of the Blood Rubies?
I think I would.
Maybe I would. So that's where we are in terms of the overall quality. Like, I really liked Sleeping Princess and Devil's Castle. I really liked Mystical Adventure, Dead Zone. World's Strongest for me, I think, so far is that's the one to beat, I think.
Yeah.
This one definitely falls lower, and I also will say it's a 4 out of 7. It's not bad, but you can see where it actually could have been maybe great, and that's almost what kind of holds it back, is that it's like, if they would have done everything that they did plus a little more fight choreography, it could have been actually one of the great ones.
Yeah, and it wouldn't have even needed like a lot more fight choreography. I'd say like maybe 5 more minutes of actual fighting.
Right, and that's it. I agree with that, because I hate to be the guy who's like, oh, I watch Dragon Ball for the fighting, but I also I don't watch Dragon Ball just for long panning shots of static trees.
Yeah.
I'm
expecting some action in my Dragon Ball movie.
Right. Or humor or colorful, like something.
Yeah, some kind of adventure or something. Right.
So yeah, that's Dragon Ball Z, A Tree of Might. And oh boy, we still got a bunch more of these, and they keep coming fast and furious.
Yeah, they do.
At this point. But yeah, that's all I've got for this one.
That's all I've got. I think we've pretty much talked this one to death.
Cool. And next time we do a commentary, I think it'll most likely be the Lord Slug, where we'll talk about False Super Saiyan. A little teaser for you.
Nice. Well, despite us doing nothing for the past hour, not even keeping an eye on our targets, we've missed nothing. The larger still idling just a bit past that red planet, and the smaller has fallen into something of an orbit around it.
He's probably making sure there aren't any Martian civilizations down there.
What the heck is a Martian?
It's what a resident of that planet would be called.
Why?
Because that planet is called Mars.
How could you possibly know that?
Don't try to analyze it. It's a gut thing.
Well, I'm not very comfortable leaving our fates up to your gut.
Look, Bogey 2 is dropping out of orbit and heading down to that planet's surface.
What could he possibly want? Scans show the planet's entirely uninhabited.
What could our mysterious Bogey want on the surface of that desolate planet? Will we reveal the identities of the beings we've chased across the galaxy? Find out next time and help us achieve our final forum.
Final Form is written and produced by Tom Gwelly. It is performed by Dan Kinney and Tom Gwelly. Our webmaster is Dan Kinney. Our theme music is provided by YouTube content creator GVG Kit. Want to learn more about the Dragon Ball universe, including concept art, behind-the-scenes interviews, and recommendations from Jelli and Bekinney? Connect with us on social media. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter at Final Forum Pod. Make sure to subscribe, rate, and review wherever you receive your podcasts. And of course, make sure to share it with your friends and family and help us spread the word of the glory of Lord Frieza. The Frieza Force thanks you for your listenership.